is Knit Cottage. My name is Hannah, and this is the place where I share all of my crafting and making, mainly knitting, but also some cross stitch and quilting too, and crochet. So today we're here to talk about my 2025, I guess I should say, crafting plans. I'm calling this Stash Go. So we're gonna try the bingo board one more time this year. If you were here, the very first video that went up on my channel was WIP Go for 2024, and very quickly I fell behind. The way that my job works, there's ebbs and flows with me being a music teacher. As we get closer to performances, my schedule gets busier to prep for those, and as we move away, it chills out a bit. And that means that sometimes WIP Go just isn't necessarily achievable for me, or I can't keep up with it in the month. It might be January, I don't keep up with those two, but in February, I can do 4 things and do the 2 for January and the 2 for February. So WIP Go is basically a bingo board where 2 numbers are called every month, and you're supposed to put your WIPs or things you want to work on in the year, and those 2 numbers that are drawn are the things you work on in that month, with the exception being the middle square, number 13. When it is pulled, there's 3 pulled for the month, so you do 12 times 2 being 24, plus that 3rd pull, bringing you up to the 25 for the bingo board. The biggest thing they always say in the WIP Go page is your board, your rules. And WIP Go was created by Jessie Marie Does Stuff. I'll link her down below if you're interested in trying WIP Go. For me, this year, it's my board, my rules. So I have it listed over here on my laptop. So if you see me looking over here, I'm looking at my WIP Go board. I have 25 things that I want to complete this year, and it's whenever I complete them this year. And my husband has teamed up with me, and what we're going to do is every time I get a bingo on my board, I can draw for a prize. A bingo being the 5 down, 5 across, or one of the 2 diagonals. So for a total, that's the 5 down would be 5 plus the 5 across, 10, plus the 2 diagonals being 12. So a total of 12 prizes throughout the year. 6 of those prizes are money-based prizes. So the goal, I don't have the dollar amounts listed, but he and I have agreed upon them. If I complete all of my bingo board this year, I should theoretically have drawn every prize, and the money listed there would be enough for me to make one of the sweaters that I purchased the pattern for in 2024. Specifically the framed sweater by Andrew Mowry. It's definitely the most expensive to kit up in regards to any of the other patterns. So if that means I can make any pattern in my stash, basically. Go out, purchase a sweater quantity, whatever yarn I want, as my reward for completing my bingo board, plus all the other prizes. So those are the first 6 is the money amounts. Prizes 7 and 8 would be a new project bag, either for knitting or cross stitch or quilting. Prize number 9 is going to be some stitch stoppers, because I'm finding that I really do like using stitch stoppers. So I always want some more of those. Prize number 10 is a yarn t-shirt, because who doesn't want to show their support for the fiber arts when it's too hot to wear their hand knit sweater. Number 11 is do tapestry needles. I only have 1 package of tapestry needles right now, so I want to fill out and get a bunch of sets, so then I can have a set of tapestry needles in every project that I'm working on. Not a necessity, but just a want, and it felt like a good, low budget prize. And then number 12 are the Snap ID cord organizer tags from Twice Sheared Sheep. And basically it's a little clip, and I'll try and put a picture up on the screen so you can see. It's a little clip that goes under knitting needles to help you organize the length of your cables. And I use a lot of fixed circulars, so for me it's to organize my fixed circulars. So that's all the prizes. That's what's up for grabs right now. Today is December 30th, 2024. If you watched my 2024 What I Knit video in 2024, so this is same day, just getting ready to start this new bingo board. So I'm going to quickly go through. A lot of these are not specific projects, and I did that on purpose to not put myself in a box. I found that last year I felt like I was in a box, that I had to do these certain things, and it made me kind of burn out on things that maybe I would have enjoyed to do, but because I was being told to do it, I didn't like it as much. And I guess that sounds a little rebellious, but if you're, we're working people all day long. We have people saying, hey, this is what we need you to do, and you do it. So when it comes time for your crafting, that's like your turf, your domain, and I want to do what I want to do. So I can go for these bingo squares in any order that I want, and they can be filled. Most of these prompts can be filled by several different projects, so I get to pick what I want. So square number 1, simple, socks from stash. I have a ton of stash yarn, stash sock yarn specifically. Most of my stash is sock weight yarn. So socks from stash, number 1. Number 2, socks for Grant, my husband. Again, I have tons of sock yarn, so he can go pick whatever socks he wants. I don't have to buy yarn for it, and we're good to go. Number 3 is a specific item. Number 3 is my Instant Crush, and I have the bag here. This was theoretically cast on in 2024, so it's technically a whip, but we're not really calling it a whip. I'm so sorry if you hear the crinkling. I have bags upon bags to try and keep this yarn secure. This is Surrey Alpaca, DK weight. There's my little swatch. I had started a swatch here and it just was not going to my liking. So I ripped out what I did, and I have plenty of yarn, so I'm not really worried about it running out. But this will be an Instant Crush by Joji Locatelli. Let me get all my colors out. I'm obsessed with this. I really wanted to cast this on before the new year hit. I definitely want to work on it in the colder months. So if I don't get to it in January, it's probably going to wait till like September, October. But look at that. Surrey DK. It's like a fluffy cloud. It is just so buttery soft. This will be my Instant Crush by Joji Locatelli. I'm very pumped about this sweater. It is definitely going to be the most expensive sweater in my stash by far. But it's just, I think the pattern, is a work of art. I think you put it in that Surrey and give it that fluff factor too. And it's just, there's something about it that just, it's a statement piece. It's going to be a statement piece sweater. Okay. That is by far the most premium fiber in my stash. So I'm very careful about keeping this sealed up and pest free. With the climate that we live in here, it goes from hot to cold pretty quick. So there's not necessarily a time in the year when I would say that my yarn is not susceptible to getting invaded by some sort of creature. So always keeping that safe. So that is the Instant Crush by Joji Locatelli. The next space, number 4, is going, it says Emily's baby sweater. One of my dear friends is having a baby in the spring. So I think I'm going to make, I was looking at the teddy bear sweater by Petite Knit. It's a beautiful sweater, but I already own the flax pattern. So what I was thinking I might do, again, trying not to spend too much money on yarn or patterns this year and really focus in my making. I was thinking about making the flax by Tin Can Knits and duplicate stitching or embroidering the little teddy bear face on the front of the sweater. I'm most likely going to use Barocco Vintage worsted weight in like a light tan color. So it'll be gender neutral. They know what gender they're having, but for me, a hand knit sweater, especially if this might be the only one she has, would be an heirloom. So I want to give something gender neutral that if they have any more children in the future, or if she wants to pass it on to her grandchildren in the very distant future, that they could do that. So that will be most likely a flax and Barocco Vintage worsted. The next block, number 5, is a whip from 2024. This is living, I forgot to say, this is a bag by a Stitchy Girl Studio. This is a great bag. It's been a fantastic bag. It's held up well. You can't, I don't know if you can tell, but there's little like gold threads in here. It's a really pretty bag. And for it to be like cream on the bottom, it's really held up well. The next block, number 5, is the Ashburn Shawl. This is a bag by Michelle from Wool Market Fibers that I won in Christmas of 2023 at the Knit Group Christmas party. And this was a shawl that everybody started together, and not everybody has finished but me. Maybe one other person. Oh, hey. You ever open a bag and just find more yarn that you weren't expecting to be in there? Yep, just me. So, oh, there's more. Oh no, there's more. There's like 3 skeins of yarn in here I did not expect to be in here. Oh, goodness gracious. Okay. Well, this is Sorel Yarns Downton Abbey collection. We'll just shout this out real quick. In Mary Branson, and I Believe in People. I think Branson. I think that's his name. Watch me be wrong. Maybe Tom. It might be Tom. but it's Tom. All right. So this, oh, I haven't even wound up the third skein for this. This is my Ashburn shawl. And this is all in Woolmarket Fibers yarn in the shimmer fingering weight. This is what we have so far. This is on a US 5. So this is a shawl. It's an asymmetrical shawl. Let me see if I can show it here. I've gotten a good bit of the way started. I'm almost out of the first section with the blue, and then I'll flip into using this color here. So we'll go from here to this color, and this is a blue. It probably looks a little more black on camera, but it's blue. And then from here, we're gonna go to here. So I'm excited. This is 100% like my colors right here, and it's got a gold shimmer in it. I'm not usually more of a silver person than a gold person, but it's gorgeous. How could I not? This is the colorway Fuchsia. So, this is square number 5. I don't know when I'll get to it this year. It's a very simple pattern to knit. It really is straightforward, and I really have enjoyed knitting it. It's just finding time, and for me, I think I'm finding I'm not a shawl knitter. I'm just not. I don't knit shawls, and 2025 is going to be the year of getting the shawls off the needles so I can knit all the other things. So that's square number 5. Number 6, socks for Charlotte. Again, it's just a generic thing. These will most likely be DK weight socks because she likes thicker socks, and I've knit her 2 DK weight pairs of socks already. So yeah, just pull from stash, figure out what I want to do, either hold fingering double or find a DK skein. Square number 7 is a current whip. This is a whip from this is December of 2022, I think, that I started this. Is it? No, December of 23. This is December of 23. So it's a year old now. This is a half and half triangles wrap, and I don't have the other colorway will be stone. Be like a nice tan that goes with it. Oh, I didn't know I was this far. Look at me. I'm almost through the first ball of yarn on this. Okay. This is a lot more progress than I thought I had on this shawl. Whoa. Okay, so this is a half and half triangles wrap. So if you don't know, oh, and I have my little Basset Hound stitch marker to show from the last time I worked on him. Maybe I don't know who this stitch marker is by. And this bag is a Stolen Minutes bag with this trademark black and white stripe on the inside. I love her bags. So you just knit a big triangle, and then you pick up right here and add in your second color and knit the other half of the triangle, and it makes a big giant square wrap. This is for a lady at my church. She's pretty sensitive to most fibers, but the linen, and I think linen quill might have a little bit of silk, whatever it was, this yarn felt really good to her, and it didn't flare up. She has, I believe, eczema, so it didn't flare up her skin or anything. So this is for her. I have a sweater's quantity of this. This is Fresh Pickle. I think the other color I have is like stone. It's like a stone gray tan kind of color. But I have a sweater quantity of Fresh Pickle too that might get knit up into a sweater in 25. Anyway, this is the half and half wrap for Sister Brenda at church. That's number 7. I feel like I'm flying through this a lot faster than I did last year because I don't have, most of these are not current whips. They're not whips, they're not designated sweater quantities or anything. They're just what I need to get done. Number 8 is a Felix cardigan. So this yarn I've had for a year now, and I've been wanting to knit this for a year. So the fact that this has sat for a year is ridiculous. This yarn, it's Katori by Noro. Let me see if I can find, I don't know if I can see the colorway. A lot of this is in Japanese, but this yarn was discontinued, and I was gifted 3 balls of this for Christmas, Christmas of 2023 by Miss Cher from Knit Group. And I did the math. I could make a Felix cardigan out of it, but it was going to be close and the cardigan might be short. So what I did is I went online, I scoured the internet. Apparently this color was very popular because there was a lot of places that had this yarn, but they didn't necessarily have this colorway. And I mean, it's beautiful. It's brown with the little red flecks in here and stuff. I think it's gonna make a beautiful cardigan. So went ahead and bought a 4th ball, and it just came in about a month ago. So I would not be surprised if this got cast on pretty quickly into 2024, just to have going in the background. Probably when I finish, I don't know. We'll see. I have a sweater on the needles right now still, so we'll see. But this will be a Felix cardigan whenever I get to it on the bingo board. That's number 8. Number 9, self-striping socks. I have a ton of self-striping yarn in my stash. So the goal is get a pair of socks done. It could be for anybody, any yarn, just got to be self-striping. Easy peasy. We'll probably get knocked out in the summer during summer sock camp hosted by the crazy sock lady. Number 10 is the mohair mod socks. And I'm not going to do this in mohair. These are going to be one of my pairs of Broadway socks. So I got Cascade Heritage, which is a 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. And this is going to be the colors I do. You're like, wait, what? So I'm going to do Wicked Witch socks with the ruby red slippers with the mohair mod. So if you know anything about the pattern, it's the top of the foot is one color and the bottom of the foot's another color. So what I'll do is stripe the black and white on the leg and down the top of the foot, and then have the red on the bottom of the foot to look like the ruby red slippers. So these are the Wicked Witch socks, and these are her ruby red slippers. These will get cast on pretty quickly. The Broadway show is always end of February, beginning of March, typically. So I'm on a deadline for these. These are probably like this and one other thing on the board is something I'm like 100% on a deadline, have to finish. Otherwise, keeping it chill this year. That's number 10. Number 11 is a top secret project, which I have listed what it is on my board, but it's a gift for somebody who watches this channel. It is not a knitting gift. It's actually a sewing gift. So I'm very close to finishing it, but I still do have a good bit of work. It's going to take me probably a couple hours still left to finish it, which is why it's on the bingo board as like a motivator to finish it, but also to acknowledge I've spent pretty good part of a year working on this project consistently. I wouldn't say a whole year, like probably at least 4 or 5 months, because there was a break in there in the middle when I went and got married, you know, just casually got married. I paused on it for a little bit to handle like socks for my bridesmaids and stuff, but this has been a project I've worked on for a while, so I felt like it deserved a spot on the bingo board to honor all the work I did in 2024 on it and all the work it still needs in 2025. But I do expect this bingo board square to get knocked off probably in the first month of 25. So I'm down for that. Be a good head start towards my first bingo. Square number 12 is a Christmas auction item. So every year my church does a Christmas auction, and it's handmade things. People donate things, some people make things. I'm definitely one of the ones that always has stuff to hand make. And last year I didn't have any brand new knits fresh off the needles to donate to the auction or anything brand new. I did do some homemade peanut butter syrup, which I think I talked about in episode 6 of the podcast. I did make that and bring it to the auction, and it was nice. But I'd like to, like, you know, thoughtfully think ahead and have something really nice to bring to the auction. So it's on here as a square. I don't know what item. It could be cross stitch, it could be quilting, sewing, knitting, crochet. We'll see. I'll mention it on the podcast when it does happen though. Space number 13, free space, whatever I want. This is probably going to be something pops up. Would not be surprised if it's the Fiberfest shawl that Michelle gifted me for Christmas this year, because that yarn is burning a hole in my pocket. I'm ready to knit it, but we'll see. Square number 14 is Christmas socks. I have a ton of Christmas yarn. I always get frustrated every year that I don't knit more Christmas socks for myself, because by the time December hits, I'm rapidly working on finishing up gifts. So by having the Christmas socks on the board, that I can give myself an excuse to knit myself Christmas socks, not in the month of December, not, you know, getting to December 23rd and being able to cast them on, but sometime thoughtfully in the year, maybe Christmas in July. But also a lot of the squares on the board are my Christmas gifts for 2025. So then when Christmas does roll around, hopefully I'll be wrapping up my last couple things on the board and I can, you know, knit Christmas and enjoy it and just slow down. I think 2025 is going to be the year of slowing down and just enjoying what I'm making and making what I want to make and not setting all these crazy deadlines for myself. Square number 15, socks for my mom. I always knit socks for my mom. She wears them a lot, mainly in the wintertime. I don't think she really wears them in the summertime. I'm probably the only person who wears, I wear shorties. I don't wear full length socks in the summertime. But she always could use some more in her stash. And a lot of hers are Christmas socks. I think I did good this year because I think I made her 2 pairs of non-Christmas socks this year. And then she got 2 pairs of Christmas socks. But I want to make sure I give her some socks that maybe are not specific Christmas socks so she has some to fill out her stash. If you hear a chicken, I'm so sorry. And by chicken, I mean a rooster who apparently wants to be in the video. All right. Square number 20 is my oldest knitting whip by far. And this one, this is in a bag by Stolen Minutes. It is the Twist and Turn shawl. This is like my most infamous whip, like hands down. It's been going for forever. One day it will get done. It's massive. I should have just put a picture up on the screen of this because it's just, it did get some work in 2024. I did pull it out and work on it. Y'all, I'm so sorry for the chickens if you can hear them. If you can't, you probably just think I'm crazy. So I've got it where we're basically working in 2 halves. We're working back and forth on the sides, and I'm working the long little twisty strip. I don't want to rip anything out here. You can see how many needles are attached to this because I don't like using waste yarn. I prefer using apparently a waste needle now because it's been sitting on this project for forever. I mean, think about these needles have been sitting for at least a year. But I'm in this strip, the little side strip. I think I'm pretty far down. I think I've got a maybe half of it left on this side, and then I have to go do the other side. So, I don't know. I think I might see too if I can knit this part and then pick up and do this side and do all of this wing and finish that off, and then go and do the other wing and finish that off. We'll see. This one's gonna take some thought. I can tell you for sure that it's not going to get pulled out in January and February. This might be a good spring break knit or a good summer knit, as far as it's going to be hot to knit in the summer, but I can dedicate some time to it and really thoughtfully focus on finishing it. And maybe, you know, say I'm going to spend an hour every day working on this on my summer break and then go off and knit socks or do whatever I'm going to do. That may not be the worst idea. I don't know. You can see how long it takes to get out of the bag. It's just, there's needles everywhere. There's yarn everywhere. It's just, it's time to get this bag empty. I want to use this bag for a sweater. I don't want a shawl in here anymore. Or at least not that one. I know I'll wear it once I finished it, and it will probably be one of my favorite shawls. And I will never knit that pattern again. It's a good pattern. It's Twists and Turns by Stephen West, which was the 2022 Mystery Knit Along. I did not participate in the was it the 23? No, it was the 2022 knit along. And then they had the 23 and the 24 knit along that I haven't participated in. We'll see. I kind of want to participate in the 2025 mystery knit along, but I don't think it's right to do it if I have not finished that shawl. So we'll see where I'm at. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll just, you know, in the month of October, finish that shawl. And I finished a mystery shawl. Doesn't have to be the right year. At least it's one complete. I don't know. All right, square number, this will be 17, is Sweater from Stash. I have several sweater quantities I'm sitting on. I think I talked about them last year. I have a sweater quantity. I have 2 from Polka Dot Creek. One is in Heartbreaker, and the other one is in Lobster Bisque. Those are both fingering weight. I also have a fingering weight sweater quantity in Linen Quill, Pearl Soho's Linen Quill and the colorway Fresh Pickle. I also have whole skarn to make the Miserina by Caitlin Hunter. And I also have whole skarn in, it's a red, I think called Venetian, to make the Ponderosa by Wool and Pine. I don't know if all of those sweaters will become exactly what they were originally purchased to be, but obviously I've had them for a while. That's that's 5 sweater quantities. So at least one of them needs to get knit up. I did knit up the Avocado Polka Dot Creek sweater quantity in 2024, but I purchased the other sweater quantity that I made. So, and the Instant Crush, I purchased that one last year too. So I need to start getting some of these sweater quantities out of stash. I think that would greatly free up my stash for the year. Square number 18 is socks for Rhonda. Miss Rhonda is a lady at my church. She always has really cold hands and feet, just poor circulation. So I'm going to make her a pair of socks. I was originally going to make her a pair of socks during Socksgiving, and that was the boucle yarn that I had the nightmare trouble with. I don't know if I'll go back and use the boucle or if I will just pull from stash and do a DK weight pair of socks. I will say this, just for board rules. If I knit her a DK weight pair of socks, I cannot cross off her socks and the DK weight pair of socks square. Even though that item fills both the prompts, the point of this is for me to get that many items out of stash and to use that much yarn. So if I knit her a fingering weight pair, it can't classify as socks from stash. If I knit her a DK weight pair, it can't cross off the DK weight pair of socks either. If they're for her, those need to be hers, unless I'm going to go make her a second pair to cross off that square. Just so we're clear on board rules, because yeah, some of these could be generic and count for multiple things, but I don't want to cheat. I want to get 25 items legitimately done next year, and I think that's fairly achievable. Square number 19 is scrappy socks. I have a lot of scraps, and when I say scrappy socks, I don't necessarily mean that they have to be striping all kinds of different yarns. If it's just, I have half of a skein of yarn left that I can knit a full pair of socks out of that half a skein of yarn and it's all one color, that counts. It's a scrap pair of socks that I got out of stash. I didn't open a full skein. I knit from the scraps that I had. The row 1 minis I have, I also would count in with scraps because they're only 10 grams. So it's not a full skein of yarn, like you get a little mini skein. So if I use mini skeins, I could count that. And if I use any leftovers from anything, I count all of that as scraps. But it cannot count as socks from stash either. It has to count for the 1 square. Square number 20, gift for Pawpaw and my grandpa. I don't know what I'll make him. He got my halibut cowl by Caitlin Hunter. I've also made him a pair of socks. I've made him a hat. So he has several hand knits. He does take care of his. He does wear them. So we'll see. I might ask him what he wants. He might want a vest, which would be a lot, but we'll see. He does wear a vest sometimes. We'll see. Maybe I'll ask him what he wants. We'll get to it. But to think about it, you know, just even now I'm thinking about it in January. What could I make for him? Which is way better than me in October being like, oh no, I need to start working on Christmas gifts. I think this board is going to work well for me. Number 21, we're down to the last row. This is definitely going a lot faster than last year, but I think I'm much more focused in than last year too. Number 21 says Yoda Crochet. So I got a kit for Christmas from my brother and sister-in-law. They got me, it's a amigurumi kit for Yoda and Leia with the stipulation of they want to learn how to read crochet patterns better, and I could definitely stand to learn how to read crochet patterns better too. So at some point in the year, I want to work on that and make both of those and, you know, go through the pattern, read it, and then we can all get better at crochet. It'll be fun. I'm excited, and it was something I was gifted that I would like to use before it's been a whole year since I got it, you know? So we'll see. That might too be like one of those projects for like spring break or fall break or summer break when I have a little time to just sit and dedicate to it, because I have a feeling if I like halfway start it and then try and come back and figure out where I'm at later, it's just not gonna work. So we'll see. Square number 22, DK weight socks. And I mentioned this earlier. I love that, you know, like this square, it's a specific pair of DK weight socks that does not fulfill any other square on the board, or I'm not using to fulfill any other square on the board. So I'm finding that I really do like wearing DK weight socks. I'm enjoying them, but I only have, I think, 2 pairs of DK weight socks. And one of them is a little worse for wear, not because of the yarn. I made them a little small, so it's definitely stretching on my foot and it's making the yarn wear out faster. So I'd like to make myself another pair of DK weight socks. So I have a feeling when I make these, they're either going to be for my mom because I don't think she has a DK weight pair of socks, or for me because I only have really one pair that I think is long-term going to last. The other pair is probably going to go in the next couple uses. So we'll see, get those done. I don't know if I'll do fingering weight held double because I don't have a huge DK weight stash, not of DK weight sock yarn for sure. So we'll see. See what I pick in the year. Square number 23. Yellow Brick Road socks. This is going to be Wool Market Fibers soft sock, 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. In the colorway Lemon Meringue, I'm going to use the pattern Just Follow by Lisa K. Ross, and these will be my other pair of Broadway socks. So giving myself the challenge of knitting 2 pairs of Broadway socks, but I'm very excited about both of these patterns. It'll be fun and just increase my sock stash. I am exclusively wearing hand knit socks now, so definitely I want to have a pretty hefty pair of, like a hefty stash of socks so that A, no pairs wear out too quickly, but B, just I have a variety of, I don't have to wash socks every day because it can add up pretty quick. I'm really excited about these. These will definitely have to be cast on. I believe I'm going to wind the yarn up today and have this be my New Year's Day cast on if I'm not still finishing my stick season sweater. We'll see. Still got to do the tubular bind off there because I'm recording this right after the 2024 stats. So it has yet to be determined. Square number 24, next to last one, socks for my dad. So my dad only has, I think, 2 pairs of hand knit socks, and he does wear them. I think he wears them more than Grant wears his. So not that I'm keeping count, but it does mean that if you're using them, then I'm going to make you more because obviously you're using them, so you'll use them if you give me more too. So I'll probably work on a pair of socks for him. I have a whole collection from Fangirl Fibers. I did her Advent in 2023. It was a weekly thing of Doctor Who Christmas specials. So I might, a lot of those colors lend themselves well to be men's socks, and they're not all the neon brights and pinks and purples that I like to buy. So I might do that, but I really, really like that yarn, so I might just pick something different. All right, the last square on the board, it's not quilting, it's not crochet, it's not knitting, it's not a chicken, it's cross stitch. So this is my oldest cross stitch whip by far. This is Dimensions Kit. I just have it listed as Red Truck. If you look in here, all the little dots in there, those are all French knots in there. This is my oldest cross stitch whip. This is not for me. I'm not going to keep this when I finish it. It's going to go somewhere else. And I have a feeling the person this is going to, they watch the podcast, they're going to know it's for them, but it's fine. It's been languishing for years now. I think 2 years at least. This is how far I am. I have been working on it. I feel like my cross stitch technique has gotten better. I've been cross stitching more. I've been practicing more. So we'll see. This is square number 25 is, oops, to get this done. It's on 14 count Aida, just using the dimensions, threads and stuff. So I have some other cross stitch projects I'm working on. I'm thinking about doing like a floss tube video, maybe dipping my toes in the floss tube. I just don't know if I'll cross stitch that much in the year. We'll see. But I'm enjoying the little red truck. I think I'm maybe like close to halfway done with the truck, but I'm definitely cross stitching faster than what I did when I was first cross stitching. This is literally the second cross stitch project I've ever started. So I knit the little tiny like starter. They have the starter dimensions things. It was a little donut like that big. It was like super tiny. And I finished that, and then I had the red truck. So I started the red truck. And I was like, oh, this will go so fast. 2.5 years later, it did not go very fast. But that's my bingo board for the year. I'm just going to fill in these squares as I feel like it. I'm obviously the 2 pairs of Broadway socks, the mohair mod socks without mohair, and the Yellow Brick Road socks. Those 2 will get cast on pretty quickly into 2025. Otherwise, I'm just going to knit what I feel like. And maybe the baby sweater. I feel like that's going to go pretty fast. And I'd like to gift that before the baby is born. But out of 25, that's 3. That's the only 3 that have a deadline that's not end of year 2025. So I'm pretty hopeful that this might be a more sustainable board for me, and also a motivator to use my stash, but to knit what I want out of my stash, to go dig and have fun and just fall back in love with the yarn that I bought. Because obviously I liked it when I bought it, or I wouldn't have purchased it. And I was gifted some yarn over Christmas. I was gifted some gift cards. So I'll probably use the gift cards to get the sweater quantity for the baby sweater. And there's maybe one more skein of yarn I have my eye on. I haven't decided yet. But for the most part, this is going to be the year of continuing the stash down, and to maybe, especially with the socks, start using some patterns that I have that I haven't used or knitted up yet, and get some things out of stash, get some bags empty, and start filling my sock drawer or my sweater drawer with hand knits. So, but also doing it on my pace. That's the goal for this year, is just to do it on my pace. And maybe in 2026, get back to knitting more for other people. There's obviously some stuff on the board for other people. It's not all for me. But definitely if I take this year to myself to just do it my way, I think it will let 2026 be the year of I can buy something and start it immediately. Or when I'm ready to start a new project, I finish the one thing I have lingering on the needles and then go straight into whatever I want. That's the goal. We'll see. I will definitely, in the podcast episodes, try to use the bingo board more. I know last year the bingo board did not get used very often. Because yeah, January they called 2 numbers. I fell behind. By February I was 100% behind, and it just felt not achievable. And I had like 6 or 7 sweaters up there. It was ridiculous. And a bunch of shawls. It was just too many big projects. Whereas socks, I can work on socks consistently, like in the car. Especially because my husband prefers to drive. So like when we're going to church or going out to eat or something like that, or if I go over to, we go see my in-laws or go to my parents' house, I can knit while I'm there. They all know I like to knit. I can knit and talk at the same time. I can definitely get a lot of knitting done. And when my husband, he streams on YouTube, his channel will be linked in the description below. If there's anything you liked that you saw here, I'm going to try and link everything below, especially patterns, but also any yarns that I talked about. Anyway, so when my husband streams, sometimes I hang out in his stream and I can bring a sock easily, especially a vanilla sock, which I guess is why I knit so many of them. And this board allows me to do that. It doesn't tie me down to I have to do this pattern, but if I want to do the pattern, I can. But if I'm in a phase of life where I just want to knit, and hang out on his stream and chat with them, then I can do that. So we'll see. I'm hopeful. I would love to hear about your 2025 knitting plans down below. Let me know if you have plans, or if the plan is there is no plan. Just let me know. Let me know what you're working on, and what if you do like a new year, new start, or a new cast on for 2025. This is going to be mine. Probably start it first thing in the morning. Let me know. Comment down below. Anyway, I've rambled on enough today. I hope everybody has a happy new year and enjoy the start of your 2025. Bye, y'all.